You know, I'm just gonna turn on desktop audio. I think that might be what we have to do. Maybe. Anyway, Silence. I've kept you waiting long enough. Welcome in, guys. If you don't know Silence, I'm gonna give the stage to Silence. Go ahead and let people know what's going on, Silence.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I can barely speak because it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here and I've not had my cup of coffee. Yeah, my name's Silence. I'm a Twitch streamer based in Vietnam, but I'm British. Yeah, just generally just play a lot of action RPGs, adventure games. My current game of choice at the moment is Helldivers 2. I fucking love that game for democracy and sweet liberty.
Dude, it's such a good game.
Honestly, man, it's grabbed me by the short and curly since it first came out. It's
Hell
just
yeah.
absolutely fucking awesome.
And can you guys all hear Silence all right? If you guys can't hear Silence, let me know. I'll bring up the audio for him. Let me know. I still don't know why I can't actually get the fucking music playing. Sorry. I was just making sure everybody can hear you.
That's all good, mate. That's all good. Usually I have the opposite problem. Usually people are like, turn it down, it's too fucking loud. But yeah, I play a lot of indie games as well. I've recently finished Amnesia, which absolutely made me shit myself throughout the course of the stream on that. And
oh
yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
a little bit about me. So yeah, I just I haven't been streaming that long. I think it's been about 6 months now, maybe 7 months. And you were one of the first people that I linked up with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 other people. And yeah, we bumped into each other quite early, didn't we? I think
I found you through a recommended, and you were playing Helldivers, and I thought, hey, maybe I can hop in with this guy.
Yeah, and that was it. The rest is history, as they say. You know,
pretty much.
Like, I can remember you jumped in and we were playing, and I was just like, I love this guy's vibe. Like, this guy is right up my street. So yeah, I'm so glad that we ended up there. I'm so glad that you clicked that button, man. You're an absolute legend.
Same to you, dude. Okay, and yeah, guys. So Silence and we've been playing a bit of Helldivers here and there. We've also done a bit of Hunt Showdown on his stream as well. And this is finally like a chance for him to get to see my community a little bit more, and for you guys to meet him as well, and a little bit of blending of the communities. Arsenal as well. There we go. Popping on in here. So also, if anybody wants any drinks at any point, let me know. It is 10 channel points in the channel points redemption. You go ahead and redeem that. You can let me know of a drink that you want for a mood that you're in or want to be in. I can make a drink for that. If you want a specific drink, I'll do what I can. Or if you want me to recommend you one, I got you with that. I'll be making drinks whenever, place the orders whenever. I'll be cooking them up and brewing them up, doing all that good stuff for you guys. Shade made it as well. There we go. Silence is pure and needs to be protected at all costs. Absolutely.
I honestly, your missus is an utter delight. Whenever she's in chat, I just end up bursting out laughing. She's got a very, very good energy about her, mate. Honestly,
you are like
you're like one of those Twitch couples that I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can really, really see like how you guys met and like just generally you've got a great great energy and a great vibe about you guys. It's awesome. It warms the cold cockles of my heart.
I mean, Mochi out here is asking, Silence pure? So
yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
She's right there.
I seem to remember there being a bit about strap-ons in your raid video, so
I say some of the most unhinged shit on my channel, and I honestly don't even remember the context into why we were talking about it.
Until it's clipped and somebody plays it back for you.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's fine, and I'll bung it in my trailer, it's fine.
I like being dicked down. I think there we go. There's one.
I suppose there's got to be a bit of context for that. So, as you know, Val, we do a game of choice for me is Helldivers 2.
Yes.
A small collection of streamers we got together, and I kind of initiated the creation of a group called Democracy's Ironclad Kill Division, which is obviously abbreviated of DICT, and it's been so joyous to start it because now it's just like, and whenever we're playing a game, we're like, get dicked, or whenever you're playing the game. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Dude, have you played the new Incendiary Corps, though? And fought against them yet?
I've not had a chance because I've been so busy this week, but I'm getting back into it on Sunday night. So but I've heard a lot about it. I've heard that they are horrible bastards.
Dude, they are fucking rough. They are so hard. They like, you first of all have to wear fire armor if you want to survive.
Yeah.
And then even then, there's the shotgun conflagration devastators. They have essentially a double barrel cookout, and they can down you even in heavy armor at range. So it's horrifying. 10 free for the peeps. There we go. Thank you, Magnet.
Am I right in saying that you've got factory striders that are walking around with stratagem jammers on their backs now?
Yeah, those are patrols.
Oh
those are full-on fabricator patrols. There's like 4 to 5 of them. One of the, it's not a jammer though. It is a cognitive disruptor. And so that's walking around usually like in the second one or maybe even like the third or fourth one. But there's 4 other factory striders that all have the cannons up top. And so pretty much everyone focuses those cannons so they can actually not get blasted ridiculously much. And then you have to push in there and try and take them down as they're just marching around. So
that sounds like a bloody nightmare.
It is, and it's awesome, and I love it so much. I love the challenge. Just something about those shotgun devastators feels a little bit too much, but yeah.
Hey, we'll have to link up, and we'll have to make sure that we make short work of them, mate. That's
absolutely.
What I'm excited about.
And Vibes, welcome into the stream. Everybody, if you are currently here and you are not following the guy that is pinned to the top of chat, Silence, you should be following him because there is a reason that we're having a guest star tonight, because this guy has decided to come on to the Coffee Talk. So go ahead and tap that follow button and show the man some love. All right? And speaking of which...
honor me now.
Oh, stop it, you. Speaking of which, Silence, that username, yes. And maybe the numbers after it too, where did that even come from? Like, what spawned that?
Okay, so I would love to say that I've got this epically long backstory where I was growing up and then something to do with the word silence was like helped influence my decision. No, unfortunately, it's just because I'm so fucking loud. Like a lot of people just tell me to shut the fuck up. So that's half the reason why I went for silence. A pseudonym that I used to use a lot when I was younger was Dreamweaver, because it was like I believe it was a song that my dad used to listen to quite a bit.
I think so. I recognize the name at least a little bit.
Yeah, it used to be Dreamweaver, and then it changed to Dreambreaker for some reason. I think it was in my Halo days on Xbox Live, where I wanted to be edgy and cool.
Yeah, Edgelord over here. Yeah. Edgelord Silence Dreambreaker.
And then I think as I just got older, I just was like, silence, because sometimes even I want to tell myself to shut up. So I just went for silence.
I was so curious about that because I'm like, why is it silence? It's a cool username. Why though? And I didn't think it would be because it's the complete opposite of what you feel like everyone should be telling you.
I thought it was quite ironic, you know.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a just a bit of a laugh. But what about you, Val? Why did you choose your name?
So, I've said a few times, and if nobody here remembers how I got the name Valacious, let me just tell you. So, I like to make up usernames or make up names for a lot of characters. That's why for a lot of my Baldur's Gate 3 playthroughs or even my D&D playthroughs or whatever, whenever I try and make a name or something, I kind of go through the alphabet and think about letters, and then immediately after that I start kind of following it with something, and I thought, okay, V sounds pretty cool. I'm going to go with V. And then after that, I just kind of thought about it, and I was trying to make a username, right? That's the whole reason. I had to make a username. I didn't want to use some, dumb username. I didn't have any ones that I really stuck with. So this was going to be my first username, right? And I'm like, what's going to be a good one? how do I? And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, Valacious. There we go. And I got it right, and I wrote it down, and I was so happy. 2 years go by, and I look it up online just to see, like, you know, like, hey, I wonder what happens if I bring up Valacious, if it shows, like, some of my clips or something, right?
Right.
And some fucking dude from back in the Roman fucking Empire has the name Valacious. I shit you not. In the Roman Empire, there is somebody named Valacious. And I don't know who it is. I think he was like some kind of Roman general of some kind or whatever. But he had the name, and I got really upset because I was like, you cannot tell me that some super obscure Roman general has the same name that I came up with no inspiration at all. And
there's a few people. There's a few people that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's someone in the Warhammer 40k universe. There's Valancius, like he's got an N in between the A and the C.
Yeah.
And he was a bishop in Lithuania. But there is a few people of like a Roman general. And let me see if I can find a bit more to it.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, right? Because I didn't know any of this when I made the name, and then here it is, and it's like everybody has like some very slight obscured thing. But then in any case, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with it, right? And so I stuck with that username for a while. I just kind of kept going with it, and funny enough, because it's such a unique username, I don't have to worry about having to put numbers or anything after it usually, because nobody's using that username. So that's why it's easy enough for me, because like if you're ever curious if I play a game, most likely I do, because nobody is going to have the name Valacious in a game unless it's me.
Oh my god, there's a set of ruins in Spain as well, which have got like something lined up with that name as well.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking, it's weird. It's weird how you could just slap some letters together and then like you think, yeah, that's proper unique, and then all of a sudden you see that there are similarities that have happened throughout the course of history. That's fucking nuts, man.
I know, right? I was just trying to get it fucking... I was trying to be unique, and I was unique, but then so were a whole bunch of other fuckers. So,
How was Greedfall the other night?
Val's 100-year-old Roman general confirmed. Shh, not hundreds of years old. Shh, Magnet, don't say that out loud. I do not wear a Roman general outfit in the bedroom, Arsenal, all right? Don't let your own fantasies spill over into, you know, our own lives, all right?
You definitely do. I bet you wear like a toga in the bedroom.
Listen, all right? Doesn't matter what happens in the bedroom, even if it is a little bit Roman-inspired, all right? We're not getting into too much bacchanal.
Good for you, mate. Good for you.
No, but that is really awesome, though. So, like, your username came from an ironic spin on the fact that you're like, I'm just so loud, which is very interesting because that's something that I've always had to deal with, too, the fact that I'm just ridiculously loud. Like, my voice carries
I feel you.
too well. Like, it's crazy.
It's like... I would argue that you have the voice for... I've said this on stream as well. You definitely have, like, an exquisite voice. I've got absolutely no problem saying that. But I sound like a chimney sweep. So when I start shouting... and then
chimney
I start
sweep!
But, like, so people are like, what the fuck is he going on about? So it's just... It's like... that was the whole reason why I went with it. I was just like, yeah, okay, we'll go with silence. But yeah, and then obviously the numbers of my birth year. So that's just backwards. So yeah, that's me. But yeah, I was going to ask you, how are you getting on with Greedfall? Have you finished Greedfall?
I did finish Greedfall, and dude, okay, Thorn, I'll get to your comment here in a second, but Greedfall. It's a fantastic game. If you guys don't know what Greedfall is or what it is, it's a colonial RPG with flintlock rifles, rapiers and broadswords, and magic. And you are on a new island that is being basically a whole bunch of different political parties from the main continent are on this island trying to get some of the natural resources, trying to set up their own cities and trying to get everything going there, right? But there's also a whole bunch of natives that have already been living there for a while. And you can kind of see a little bit of like the colonial aspect of the RPG where you're trying to navigate political tensions between all these different, interested parties in the island and the natives themselves that are already living there. And like, there's also a companion system of people that you're working with that follow you around. And I love the game. There are some fan-fucking-tastic plot twists in that game, especially like right around like the early, like I think within like about 10, maybe 15 hours. You're getting like even like you've already got some really cool setup stuff, and then it's like, okay, you're on the island, you're exploring. Whoa, all right, some really cool story stuff, some really cool setting up of everything is happening in that first like 10 hours. And then you get to like the 10 to 15 hour mark, and it's like, okay, I think I know this world. Plot twist, no you don't. Here's a whole bunch of twisted shit that just happened. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, hold on. I'm trying to catch up, and then after that happened too, it kept going on and kept going to the point where just last week was it earlier this week? No, yeah, last week I finally like finished the whole game. And it's got like 20 plus hours of me messing around in a bunch of side quests and then also like doing the main stuff after I'd leveled up enough. And there's still more. Like they have a little bit of a DLC that I have to do, and there's like a few other things, but fantastic game. Absolutely recommend it. Now, there is a second one coming out that I would say hold off on. It's an early access, which, it's fine, early access, whatever, but it's not looking good in early access. And the people that are coming out of it are saying that there's some interesting stuff that is not really working for the people that came from playing the first one. So, the first one, it's lightning in a bottle, fantastic, it holds up, I don't care what happens to it, it's still a great game. I don't know about the second one. It's going to be a prequel as well, so it's going to be a little interesting, but yeah.
Nice.
So
I think I'm gonna check it out then, because I gotta be honest with you, I did hear mixed things when it first came out, but I try and avoid like critical reviews of games and things like that. But for some reason, I read a couple on this one, and unfortunately, kind of swayed my decision not to really play it. But now I am hearing you talking about it. I've seen a little bit of action on some of your streams, and I'm like, you know what?
Beautiful.
It's just like, yeah, it's a stunning game. It is a stunning game.
Good.
And I think I'm going to give it a go, because I like the whole concept of like having flintlock rifles, and then you have like all this inferno going on, like magical stuff going, and like electricity-based stuff as well. So I think I'm going to check it out. I think I'm going to have a look. And Steam Summer Sale is on at the moment as well. So I might be able to pick it up cheap.
If it's on there, go for it. It is, and I've heard a lot of people too, like, I don't know what it was like when it first came out. I know some people were saying that it was really good, but it was kind of like it didn't really ping on my radar too much until like it came to the PlayStation Plus like Game of the Month listing, and that's when I got it, but I didn't play it yet on the PS4. And then like a few years later, they rolled out the PS5 upgraded version, and then I was like, ooh, I might want to get that, but that's when I built my PC. And then it was on sale when I got my PC made, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this on my PC. It's probably going to look even better, and it's fantastic. It's so fucking good.
Well, and it's, for me, it's under $4 as well, because obviously we get a different set of prices in Vietnam. So I am going to check that out, man. I think I'm going to end up getting it.
Well, there you go, then. It is absolutely a game that you should check out if you enjoy RPGs.
Yeah, I will. I'll have a gander.
Couldn't hear the name of the game. Which one are you talking about? Okay, let me type it in. Greedfall. If you're curious about it, there is my YouTube channel. I've uploaded my entire playthrough to there. I've tried to trim it down. I think the first episode may not have any trimming around it, but I did try and trim like the second episode and all the way through to the 8th one, which is the final one. Cut out the stuff that's kind of like redundant and, me running around and everything. Tried to move all that stuff down there, but if you guys want to and you guys want to check it out, see if that's interesting, I have the full playlist up on there. But yeah, that's where that is if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, so Greedfall. And then you've been playing quite a few different indie games, haven't you?
Right, so up until a couple of months ago, I was doing, I think it was about 3 streams a week, and I really wanted to, because I've got like a backlog of indie games, and I was like,
who doesn't?
want to do something good. Yeah, so I started doing an indie games night on Thursday nights, and I've played, what have I played? Like Celeste, I've played, my God, my brain, I can't remember everything. Amnesia, I'm going to be playing Soma real soon.
Ooh.
I think at one point Disco Elysium was up on the cards, but I think so. Like on my Discord channel, people can vote for the game that I'm going to play on Thursday nights. So and whatever wins is the game that I will end up playing. And my bastard community has constantly been picking scary games for the last few times. So I played Little Nightmares, and then I played Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And then I'm now due to start Soma next week. So I'm half tempted just to go, okay, Thursday night is just scary game night.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, I do love a good indie game because my brother is an indie game developer. He makes a lot of he started off in the Flash games like age on like Newgrounds.
Yeah, Newgrounds and all the games that came out on there.
Yeah. So he was doing a lot of that. He made a few Flash games on there, and then he slowly started moving out and branching into a little bit of more like game-based development rather than like Unity engine and things like that.
Very nice.
He played a few games, and I've done a bit of voice acting in 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, and so like indie games is like part of my video game growing up age, if you want to say. So I kind of get I do have a big connection and a big affinity with indie games. So I'm trying to play a lot more of them. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it.
No, that's awesome. And you were even playing Celeste too, which was like a few weeks ago, and you managed to beat it like pretty fast, I will say. I thought that game would take you longer.
I'd done it in just under 9 hours.
Damn.
It was rough, Val, because I was staying up until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning playing.
Oh my god!
so I was like, and I was like live on stream. So I think my brain was fried towards the later part of the streams.
You still beat it in 9 hours, which like.
Yeah. I did all right. It was rough. But Tori, who actually gifted it to me, bless her heart, Torifa, she gifted it to me and she said, like, you got to play this on stream. So I was playing it and she was like, you're like, how are you so good at this at the start? I think like she was expecting me to like really flunk it. And it's like, no, I got this. I grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog.
I can do it.
Yeah. So I was playing a lot of Celeste. I loved it. I've got a question for you, Val.
Okay.
What if you had to pick one game where you could forget about it and play it all over again and not know what it was going to be about? What would it be?
Ooh, dude. Okay.
I've you a proper curveball. I know
that. Well, the hardest thing too is because if you know me, you know I absolutely enjoy Cyberpunk 2077 so damn much. That game is so good, but it is seconded by Baldur's Gate 3 as far as the story goes. Because
that's a fucking good shout. Yeah.
If I could forget, I think it would be a very close tie between Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. Because Cyberpunk, if you have never played, I still haven't beaten the fucking DLC yet, so I don't know the endings that happen in the DLC, but I do know that when I got like the endings for the game originally, and this was way back when I played it on PS4, Yes, I played Cyberpunk on PS4. It was awful. I will not sit here and say that it wasn't the worst experience most of the time because the game wouldn't load. But I played it anyway, and I still had so much fun with it. I love that game so much. And then they did some changes. They made it better. I got a PS5. I was able to play it, and it was much smoother. I was getting 60 frames a second. I was like, this is so fucking cool. And then they completely revamped the game. The game got even more interesting. All the skills got put around in different places. And then they revamped it a second time, and I'm like for me, I've played that game what feels like so many different times, and it's come out in so many different variants. And that game, I would feel, I didn't really grow up playing it, but I grew as a person playing that game, and I kept coming back to it. So, that's why I think I might lean a little bit more towards Cyberpunk, because the endings for that game, hearing that music as well that's playing, when you have your headphones on, and I'm not going to spoil the ending for Cyberpunk if you haven't seen it or you haven't seen any endings, but there are some very, very intense things that your character is ending the game on in an ambiguous way. But kind of hinting towards a good thing, or kind of hinting towards an epic thing, if you're thinking about the Merc route, or the Edge Runner route. But and you just hear the music of do 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 do, and you're just feeling it. You see that for me, it would be tied between those two.
It is a great game. I recently finished it. I recently finished it.
Fuck yeah! What ending did you get? Did you get the?
I got the one with. I'm just trying not to spoil it, but I made the most difficult choice in my personal opinion.
Oh dang! Twice. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in.
What a legend. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's like everyone's played Edge Runners or it's stealthy kind of people.
Yeah.
I just got a great big fucking hammer and I was just hitting people.
Hell yeah,
that
dude.
That was my strat.
Okay.
First.
So and the first time I played it, I was a revolver guy. I was pulling out the 6-shot revolver, and I was like, boom, 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 kill them all, sweet. And it gets crazy because you can get a really easy lock onto the head ability and just blow everyone's heads off. And then there's the 4-shot revolver where it's even more powerful, and I'm just running around that gigantic brick of a gun and just boom, boom, boom.
Jeez Louise. It was a lot of fun. And I like the fact that, you haven't even... See, with games like that, like Skyrim and Cyberpunk and, Oblivion and things like that, what I tend to do is I tend not to do the main story. I just go straight off and I just start doing my own stuff. And I like the fact that Cyberpunk allows you to do that.
But because it doesn't seem like you should right away, right?
Yeah. It's weird. It kind of, leaves it a bit ambiguous and a bit open. But I liked that about it because what I found that I was doing was I was coming back to the story. I was deliberately doing missions where I was coming back to the story constantly. And the development and the organic kind of nature of how your character develops and what goes on throughout the course of the story. It is very, very intense and it's very cool. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very much with you on that. If you've not played it, you really fucking should.
But now I pose a question back to you. You want to throw a curveball at me? Okay. Did you expect I was going to do it back to you? Boom! What game would you have to completely forget about the whole story and everything, and then you play it again?
Okay, so if we're talking about old school games, if we're talking about something that's a little bit older and let's say it's a bit more sentimental to me, it would be the old Final Fantasy VII. That would be one of the games. But in more recent times, I've developed a love for a game called Outer Wilds. Now, I don't know whether you've played Outer Wilds.
I have seen the story because I remember being interested in it, but I am still probably going to play the game anyway because it is very interesting.
Okay. It's one of those games. I've got no shame in saying this. It was a game that came to me in a very, very difficult time for me personally, and Arsenal bought it for me because me and Arsenal were very, very good friends. We're like best friends offline, and he bought it for me for my birthday, and I played it, and it's one of those games that when you play it once, you can never play it again. It's an experience. Once you play it, you know everything what's going on, and the moment that you do that, it doesn't spoil the game for you, but it spoils the experience.
Yeah.
And I played it for about 40 hours. Realistically, it's about 30 to 35, up to 50 hours, depending on how you play it. And you just try and figure out what's going on. And just when you think you've got an understanding of what's going on, it will do something else in the game. And there are things that you need to figure out for the process of it, where you have to start piecing. It's a puzzle game to all intents and purposes, and you start putting things all together and whatnot. But when I finished it, I cried because it was such a unique experience. I knew I was never going to experience it again, and it really it made me see my life and my situation and to all intents and purposes death in a very different way. And it was very honestly, if you've not played it, do not spoil it for yourself. Go, just open up the game, buy it. You can buy it very cheap now. I think on Steam at the moment it's about 150k in Vietnamese dong. I think it's about $6, $7, $8 maybe. And if you've not played it, I would strongly recommend it, Val, because it was so, its impact on me was so profound that I ended up getting the tattoo of the solar system on my arm.
That's
honestly,
really cool.
It's so cool. But yeah, so if we're talking old school, it would be Final Fantasy VII purely for nostalgia. But if we're talking more recent times, then it would be Outer Wilds.
Damn, that's pretty cool. No, and I hear you too with like finding a game when you just really are in a moment and you just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna play a game. And it's funny enough too because you know Baldur's Gate 3, and you know the Dirge playthrough.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done it about 3 or 4 times. Not Dirge, but I've played Baldur's Gate 3 or 4 times. Yeah. To completion.
For me,
I was like really interested in the other whole story of the Dirge. There was so many points throughout the Dark Urge storyline that I played it. That was the game that I played. Was playing my Dark Urge character in January of last year, all the way through during my break of not streaming, and I played that through, and it was something else because I didn't know where the game, where the story was going to go. I didn't know if there was like one specific ending that was going to happen anyway, and like there was like maybe you can kind of change a little bit about it, but like it's gonna be this no matter what. And then there is one of the biggest plot twists towards the very end, where the Dirge character comes face to face with a lot of stuff that's been going on throughout the whole game and finally greets it all. And then you're like, is this the end? And I'm not going to say anything else after that. But there's a point where you just go, this is the end. This is it.
Yeah.
And that, I sat there and I wasn't like, flat out like fully like, ugly crying, but I like sat there because I was so in shock and so just like feeling every emotion in that moment with like tears just like running out of my eyes and like feeling everything in that moment. And that's another story that like if I could, I would want to experience that again, but I think it was fine that I experienced it once. I think it was fine I experienced it once in the way I did.
Did you do a Dirge embrace or did you resist?
I resisted every time. And man, it was so damn hard that some of those rolls.
My wife is a BG3 nut. She loves the game. But she said I don't know if you played the first or the second one.
I didn't play the first or the second, unfortunately.
The first and the second one tie into the third one with the Dirge run. And she said to me that the biggest, the way that she said, I believe that the game is meant to be played is resist Dirge. Because it kind of ties in with what happened in the first and the second game.
Yeah.
So it kind of like follows on. So I think that is, and I've not done that run. I've done Dirge Embrace. I've done a proper Tav run. I'm currently doing an honor run mode with my mate Clem. And
I've seen that.
I haven't done the resist one yet. So yeah, I would love to give that one a go. Might stream it, you know, why not?
Hell yeah. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
And
Someone
also,
said disco. Oh, sorry, go on.
sorry, really quick, Thorn, your statement about about your daughter trying to just say mother in a derogatory way. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think she just doesn't know. Like, she just has a lot of people that are in her ear and trying to, you know, tell her a lot of things. And I don't, like, if it's not bothering you, then it's not bothering you. But, like, it's obviously, she thinks it's being disrespectful. So how you deal with that, that's how you're going to deal with it. So your call, honestly. But that was from something like earlier in my stream when I played a lot of Monster Hunter, and I was a little bit nervous because I was like, shit, it's getting close to the time for the coffee talk. I'm only going to have like an hour and a half of actually relaxing before I have to chat with Silence. But I'm glad to be here. So.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm glad we've done this, man. I really am. It's like, you're top bloke, absolute top bloke, as we would say back in England. So yeah, I'm so chuffed that we've ended up like, or that you clicked that link and we linked up and we played that game.
Yeah,
I think
dude.
I've been streaming for like maybe a couple of weeks. I don't think it was long. I think it was quite a quick turnaround that we ended up meeting up, maybe a month or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so chuffed we've done this,
And
man.
you weren't even affiliated, and it was recommending me you, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop in here. And like, right now I'm just realizing how unique that was, because I don't think that recommend stuff really brings in it may sometimes, but it really doesn't recommend people that aren't affiliated usually. So I think that was pretty cool that I got to I got to find you through that. And dude, I wouldn't take it back. Like, this has been so much fun getting to like meet you, getting to interact with you. Like, your community that you built like super fast. A lot of people that are really happy to be there, and I'm just proud of how far you've come, man. It's awesome to see you. Just always killing it out there.
You're a big part of that as well, though, Val. Do you know what? Is this where we're just gonna be dancing over each other now? Just part of the street where we just
just cause like, yeah, you're the fucking best. Nah, you the best, bro. Stop it, man. No. What do you mean?
A couple of drunkards that comes up. You joined into that community very, very early, and it like you were like fundamental part in helping me build that. You came into my like streams. You helped like. Essentially just your vibe, you help draw people in as well. It's like I wouldn't change my community for the world. I really
you got
wouldn't.
A fantastic
it's
community.
It's fucking awesome, man. And I'm just so chuffed that you're part of that we're all part of it, that we're all building this together. It's just it warms the cockles of my heart. It really does.
Yeah, and that's something I love to do too. Like it's something that I never thought I would be able to do. I say this to so many people, but I love entertaining people. That's something that is like integral to just that I'm really good at. I enjoy it a whole lot. And, you know, whether or not like some people kind of argue like, oh, your purpose on Earth, you have to find it. I don't know if there's really a purpose or not, but I do know that I enjoy entertaining people. If I can make people like laugh, if I can make people like smile, if I can make people feel things in a good way and just like really think about stuff and maybe think about things in a better way to enhance their life in the experience that we're all sharing, then I'm doing something right. And so if I can help other people do that too, that's what I enjoy doing. And so like seeing you and like hearing about that, and like if I have something that I can share that I feel like will help you out, I'll try and like see if it'll work. And most of the time it does, but sometimes like I've had some people that I've tried to like say, hey, are you sure about this? Or they're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. Like I feel like there's something for me. I'm like, okay, cool. And they do it and they succeed. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. And I think it's great that we all have our own brand of, you know, personality and entertainment, because that's what it is. We're here to entertain people. So
yeah, 100%. I started off doing this whole streaming thing. Not necessarily because I thought I'd be good at entertaining people, but more at the fact that I have a lot of friends that have recently had children over here, and it sounds like a kid at a playground, but I was like, I have no one to play with. So
I mean, that'll happen.
So I was just like, I'm gonna go online and I'm just gonna see like but also I had Clem that was pushing me a lot as well. Chronically Clementine. He's been streaming for about 3 years now. He's
Nice.
if you're not following him, you should go and check him out. He's an
Let me give a
absolute
shout out
legend.
for him real fast.
He does a lot of charity streams because he suffers with MS, multiple sclerosis, which is like a horrible.
I got it
horrible
wrong.
disease.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's fine. Clementine, the I is a Y.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's an odd thing. It's an odd spelling, but he's an absolute lad, and he started streaming about 3 years ago. He'd done like a couple of charity streams, and then one day I ended up saying to him, look, if you ever wanted to play something collaboratively online, let me know. And then we got a group, so it was me and Arsenal and somebody else, Arsicle, that we ended up playing on a regular basis with. And he kept saying to me after like a year and a half or so, he kept saying to me, you really should start streaming. And at that point, Arsenal had recently had a baby, and my other mate said I had one, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try to see if I could do a collaborative stream or something. And and it's just like I now have the opposite problem. I have too many people to manage and not enough time, which is fucking awesome. It's a nice problem to have.
No, and that's something too, because like, you know, for me, when I very first started it, people just kept saying, dude, you have a really good voice for streaming. Dude, you have a really good voice for streaming. People just kept saying 100%. That, and it kind of
you do, man.
Thank you. And then people just kept saying that, and then so I thought, you know, like why not, right? There wasn't anything that I like shouldn't stream for, so I was like, you know what, why not? I'm just gonna start streaming. And then I started streaming, and I don't know if I told you this, but I got my start on streaming from Hunt Showdown. Like the console community of Hunt Showdown is majority of the reason that I got my start in streaming. It's because everybody in the console community of Hunt Showdown, like it's once you get to like when you this is like old Hunt Showdown console, so. When you got to like the 5 and 6 star thing right around there, it was really hard to get there, and most of the time you're running into like the same 20 or 30 people, so you end up knowing like play styles, how people play, what they do, and like half of them were streamers. Also, small minority of them horrible people. There are some horrible people that play console Hunt Showdown, and it's a lot more toxic, but there's also a whole bunch of really great people that do play that, and we all just started chatting. Like a lot of them streamed, and so I just kind of was like, oh, you know what, why not? And then I saw that like somebody was streaming Hunt Showdown, and I was like, oh, I ran into this guy a few times. Why not go ahead and like chat with him, right? And things started going good. I started chatting more with them. Things started going even better, and I just started chatting with more. And in a month of watching people, like specifically, I think it was Fall X1 was the console streamer that I watched a lot. I don't think he streams a whole lot anymore, or he doesn't really stream a lot of Hunt, but he was the guy that I watched do streaming, and I was like, you know what? I could probably do this. Like Then I had one of my friends, Hilarious or L. She was like, mate, just fucking stream. It's not that hard. And so I was like, all right, fine, I guess I will. And so I started streaming, and then people showed up. They kind of got me like shout out around, and I was playing a lot of Hunt Showdown at the beginning, kind of feeling things out. But literally in the first week of me playing Hunt Showdown and streaming that, I was like, you know, I want to try and mess around a little bit with stuff that isn't just Hunt Showdown, because I didn't want that game to be like the only thing I streamed. So I played Coffee Talk. That's where I met Thorn. Thorn started marketing me around as well. And then, ta-da, here we are. EC, thank you so much for the follow, or raid. Welcome in. Sorry. My brain is very ruined a lot, so welcome in. Let me get that shout out for you guys. You know what to do. Tap the follow button. It is there at the top of chat. Perfect for you. There we go. Nathan, ahaha. Welcome in. And Erica Hysterica. I love that. Hello. Good to see you. EC, thank you for the follow. Welcome to I hope I didn't pressure you into that. Thank you for the shout out. Absolutely. And so everybody too, everyone that's come in, everyone that's hanging out, everyone that's kind of like chatting around, you're like lurking or whatever, I appreciate you all. Me and Silence both. And Silence is the person pinned to the top of chat. If you're not following him, that is the username. Tap it, go there. If you see him chatting, he's the orange username. Go ahead and click on that and follow him. Show some love and appreciation to him, all right? This guy is awesome, and we're going to be chatting for another hour-ish. So, yeah, just kind of talking about and, like, you know, shooting the breeze.
Shooting the shit.
Yeah, shooting the shit. Yeah. Malaria, hello.
was,
good to see you.
I was going to say, I've never seen anyone stream or, like, do something, like, in regards to, like, where they just go online and they just chat to their community. I thought that when I first saw you stream Coffee Talk, I was like, what is this? What's he up
What the
to?
fuck is he doing?
And I saw it. Yeah. Why is he streaming Coffee Talk? And then I quickly realized what you were up to. And I think it's a very clever and a very unique idea. I think it's great to see you engage with your community, man. It's very, very cool. I've not seen anything like it before on Twitch.
I appreciate that. And honestly, I wish more people did it, and I want more people to do it. Some people have been like, I don't really want to do it because I don't want to, like, you know, take away your thing. And I'm like, this is not something that, like, I want to, like, copyright, right? This is not something that's like, oh, only Valacious, only me. I'm the only one that can do this. You do it, I'm coming out. No. I don't care. Like, the whole point of Coffee Talk is to, like, first of all, it was just to, like, play the game, which Coffee Talk is a fantastic game. If you've not played it, it's a very chill, very relaxing, and very, I feel like at times, very hard-hitting, real cool story about humans and fantastical creatures all trying to exist in a world that feels very close to our own, and you get to make drinks.
So is there actually a story to it?
Yes, there is a very good story. This is actually the second game in the series, and they're coming out with a new one soon. And
oh god.
So yeah, and so I was playing these games, like I played the first one and I was playing the story. That's where I met Thorn, and Thorn kind of like started getting me around to a few other people on Twitch. But after I beat the first game, you'll want to replay it because there's a few other interesting things besides the fact that you know everyone's drinks that they want. Then you also get to replay the game, and you also get a few like interesting plot twists about the fact that replaying the game. I'm not going to spoil it. Play the first Coffee Talk if you haven't. Play the story. It's really cool. I even did a little bit of voice acting for all the characters, and it was really fun. And even made a voiceover mod for it for my stream. That is, or for on Steam. That's awesome, EC. Way to go. Nice. That is super cool. But yeah, Coffee Talk Tokyo. But anyway, so I was playing this game. I was playing Coffee Talk, and I beat the story. Played it through a second time. I was like, cool. And then I was gonna go play it through it a third time, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I've got the different character voices. I enjoy doing it. People started to know me as like, oh yeah, he like plays Hunt Showdown. He does these like coffee talks where he's like playing the story. He does some pretty good character voices. But I didn't want to keep playing the story because I'd already knew what it was, right? And then Thorn suggested, why don't you try just using the free brew mode and just make some drinks and talk to people? And I was like, all right. And here we are now. That's why Thorn has a gold card to get any drink they want for free. Because they suggested this idea, and it's become a thing that I've been doing pretty much since I've started streaming. So, yeah.
Got his own little personal barista.
Pretty much. Like, and, like, it's crazy, too, because, like I was saying, I want more people to, if they have communities on Twitch, I want more people to, like, have these moments where they can share with their community. It doesn't even have to necessarily be like live on stream. If you have a Discord thing where y'all hang out, that's just as good. But I don't know. It's interesting that I feel like, because it used to be I would go live for the coffee talks, not playing the game, like playing the story, but just the coffee talks, and I was like, okay, let me try and do something like this, talk about this, and then I was like, okay, let me try doing some let me try to do some topics and try and talk about something. That was fun. That was good for a while. But
yeah,
I kind of ran out a little bit, and then I just kind of started going live and just talking about whatever. And now it's gotten to the point where I just hit go live, and start streaming, and I just chat.
See where it goes.
I have no
Yeah,
idea what's
that's
going to
it.
happen.
That's
I have
it.
no idea if I'm going to find something. There's been some times where we've gone on like the reviews of the spiciest gummy bear and read the reviews of that, which was really funny. There's been like all kinds of stuff. We've looked up different places to like that like the easiest places to live versus the hardest places to live, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So-
Nice. Well, I think it's fucking great, man. I think it was a very, very clever idea.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I've never seen before, and genuinely, it's just a vibe. I've been in it a few times, over the last few weeks or so, and it does. You just literally, like you say, you just hit the play button or the live button, and you just chat, and you got to have so much confidence to be able to do that, right? It's that
Oh,
because it's you and your community, and there's no plan, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's so cool, man. I really do.
So, and it's I'm just asking EC how the voiceover mod works because I'm curious about it. But dude, it's still sometimes like something that I try to stick to. Even if I don't play any other games during the week, if I play nothing on the weekend, like I'm having just an off week, I still try to do the coffee talks. That is something I still try to do. And that's how, like, why some people, whenever I don't do the coffee talks, I'm like, oh, I'm going to postpone the coffee talks. Some people are like, hey, you okay? Hey, things good? Like, everything all right? I'm like, yeah, no, like, most of the time I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just got to, like, had, like, some scheduling stuff come up. But sometimes I'm just like, I'm not doing good, and I don't feel like I would do good for the coffee talks tonight. And that is something that I love, the atmosphere that has formed around it, because it's not just me. It's everyone else that's also in this community and that pops in that makes this fun. There's even been some times where I've hit go live and I end up just breaking down on stream because everyone's just so absolutely heartfelt and just really, like, it just really sucker punches me sometimes in a good way. Because,
I think.
yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt. I
No, it's
think
fine.
I think that's very genuine of you. That if you're able to do that and go online, and I think that's also a testament not only to yourself but also to your community, because it
Yeah.
shows that like there is that relationship between you guys, and I think it's awesome. I think it genuinely is lovely.
Oh, and yeah, I appreciate that. It's not just me though. Like, even though I can be like I'm like the central focus of it, I don't really try to make it just about me. Like, everyone else here is like having chats too, and sometimes like I love it too, because there's a lot of problems that can happen when people have these moments of just sharing things that trauma dumping becomes a very big problem if you don't have the right community around it, right? Because there's a difference between having a bad day and like having a rough day or even a rough go of it, right? And trauma dumping, where like every single time, horrible shit, nothing else but horrible shit, and then they leave. And they come back next day, even more awful stuff, right? And it's fine. Like, you know, people have bad times, but it depends too. Like, if somebody's been around a while and you know them and you know they're just having a bad time, that's fine, right? But if somebody's like brand new and it's just all awful, or even if somebody's been around for a while and it's constant like pessimism and constant downside, it's like, okay, are you sharing this because you want the validation that comes from it? Or are you sharing this because you just genuinely want to like try and get it out there and you don't really need somebody to say anything? Like, it's a very slippery slope, and I love what the people here have done too, because like, if somebody has a bad day, we talk about it, you know, we like, hey, like, commiserate, that's rough, that's awful, like this is really bad. But we also try and give things, like, if somebody's been through it, there have been people here that have gone through things before that somebody's going through right away, and they give them really helpful outlooks and maybe even ways to think about something that they haven't used before. Giggity indeed. All right, somebody's getting giggity out there. But it's a way to try and think about things in a way that maybe you didn't think about it like this, or maybe you just need a little bit of perspective change. Try and think about it like this. This helped me through this before. Maybe it'll help you too. And there's a lot of people in this community, and like even me, I've been through some stuff, a lot of stuff, and it helps. A lot of people sometimes come back and they say, hey, thank you for that. That really helped me get through some stuff. And I'm not expecting that, but hearing that kind of stuff, I'm just like, you got it. You knew you had it. I knew you had it. You just need a little bit of like redirection. You got it. So, yeah.
I think there's a slippery slope between being like to genuinely just trying to talk about the problem and then be like, guys, I need aid in finding out a solution for this.
Yeah.
Right? I find that if you're doing that, then there is that like that is a good place to start, right? Because you know the old saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. But
Yeah.
I think there is a big difference between just venting and then venting and venting and venting, and then when you're offered solutions or aid, they're not acting on it. Right, so I'm a big advocate for mental health and like making sure that everyone's okay, and that like, you know, if like, especially among men, because there is a stigma talking about mental health with men, right? But
which is unfortunate, but
it is very much so. But there's been a few times over the last couple of years or so where you've met someone, they've talked about like not you, but like. Have, and they've talked about something, you go, okay, try this. Why don't you try this? Why don't you talk about this? And then they're like, no, it's never going to work and whatnot. And then you've got to get to a point where you're like, okay, like I'm trying to help you with this. If you don't want to listen to it, then that's on you. Yeah. So it like you've got to do. People are responsible for themselves to all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of thing. You know,
And
like just make sure you look after yourself.
Yeah. And you also got to be careful too, because sometimes if you overstep like offering help too, some people go, they don't do the thinking for themselves, and that's the other downside. Where if you go too much into helping somebody, sometimes if you don't know how to regulate and like protect for yourself and go, I can't do this for you, you might end up overextending yourself and putting yourself in an awful spot, and that person won't give a shit about what you did for them. So
I can 100% relate to that. 100% relate to it. Yeah, absolutely right. Bang on the button, mate. Bang on the button.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're people pleasers who I do still end up being a people pleaser most of the time, but I've since been doing pretty good. Hi, I'm Valacious. I used to be a people pleaser. I've been pretty good for about a year now, clean of people pleasing. And there is a way out. There is a way out. There's a way to make sure it's all boundaries and it's all good stuff from there, but you got to do it first.
That's it, mate. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But
no,
sorry,
go ahead. Go on.
If you had something to go for
I was gonna try and switch up the mood a little bit because we got a bit serious there all of a sudden. Okay, let's talk about We've talked about our favourite game, and we've talked about a game where we would play it again if we could forget it, and then which game would we play? What is a game that you play? And you turn around and go, that was fucking awesome.
Oh, dude. I have a recent one. That was awful. But there's a few others that I would have to like really dig for it because I don't like sitting on them. But there were some pretty awful ones that. Okay, so the one that I had most recently that was awful was Sundered. It is a Metroidvania, and it's a really cool art style. They like hand animated a whole bunch of stuff. Really cool game. It's got a lot of like kind of like eldritch lore kind of things going on, but there's a problem with Sundered, and it's that the balance of the game and like the bosses, you get to a certain point. And like there was a boss that genuinely made me rage, like not rage quit, but like it made me to the point where I was like, I feel like I'm gonna start raging at this game right now because this is actually unwinnable. And
oh my god,
like it's a Souls-like or roguelike. No. It's a Souls-like, so you die, you come back, but you can get back to the area that you were in. Like, you do, like, a boss run, you get back there, and you go for it again. And, like, and I had fought some pretty rough bosses towards the end of the game already, and I'm like, man, this stuff is, like, hard. This stuff is really hard, but I'm going to try and do it, but I was getting a little ticked off at how annoying it was, because it wasn't just like, it wasn't that they weren't, you know, they weren't necessarily fun. They weren't making it really
wasn't
great.
An enjoyable experience.
Because it was like they were, not only were they really strong and hit really hard, they also had a lot of health, and they moved super fast. They did all three of those. And that is not fun. But like, maybe, it depends. If you get really powerful, that kind of stuff doesn't really matter if you're able to really stand up to it. You're not. Because what happened was, I got to like, I think it was the second to last boss, or like the third to last boss in Sundered. And what happened was, it's a duo boss. You have to fight both of them at the same time, and they're flying around. You can't fly, so you have to try and platform around to hit these things that are flying around. They do a bunch of damage if they hit you. There's no other heals that you can get around the area, not easily. And if you do manage to take one down, you have to then, wherever you just were, on like the very outskirts of the boss area, most of the time, because you had to avoid all the attacks of both of them. You killed one, the other one becomes super enraged, spams its attack, which already does a bunch of damage, as you have to get back to the middle of the area to hit the crystal in the middle to damage it. And you're doing barely any damage.
Jesus.
And that right there, I was like, okay, this is cool. It's really hard. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, right? Because that's usually how you need to think about some Souls-like and roguelike stuff. Is if you keep dying and you're barely doing anything, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe it's a gimmick. Maybe you're missing something very important. Like the Yorm boss fight in Dark Souls 3. There's a sword up near the throne that you have to run around and pick up and then equip it and use it, and that's how you're meant to kill Yorm. And then, like, you know, if you don't know about that, or you didn't really notice that, you're just like, oh, it's an item, pick it up, cool, got it. Don't even think about it, right? So I was thinking, maybe it's a gimmick. I looked it up. There is no gimmick. It is just that hard. That's what was so ticked off of me, right? And like, I could feel I was getting mad at it, but I was like, finally, like, it was one of the only games recently that I just had to say, I'm done. I don't want to play this game. This game is like, it had a lot of good stuff, and I still genuinely feel kind of bad, but at the same time, it's not fun. It got to a point where the fun stopped, and I didn't want to, and the challenge, there was no challenge. You cannot genuinely beat that unless you wanted to grind a whole bunch of levels, and so it, like, if you want to look it up too, like, you can look up the boss fight. It's like one thing that's flying around that's like a cloak. It's another thing that's floating around that's like I can't remember what the other thing is, but like, you hit one and then you're supposed to like go attack this little crystal in the middle, and you have to like platform and try and get up there, and if it hits you, you're probably going across the boss area and not going to get to the crystal in time, and then you have to try and kill one of them again for a point in time before it regenerates and comes back. And oh, dude, that was one of the games recently that I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to get pissed at this game. There's stuff I like, but that's it. So
I just looked it up. I just went on Steam, and I'm looking at it, and even the Steam trailer looks mental. Like, there's a few times in the bosses where it's like, you can tell that it's like a big boss fight. Yeah. And there's just all over the screen. Like, I think I would lose my rag with it as well. I mean, I love a good Metroidvania and a good platformer, but my God, this looks ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I love bullet hell games, like, where you have to, like, you know, avoid practically, like, everything. Like, there's nowhere safe on the screen. You have to try and judge, can I take this hit of these things and, like, these hits, and maybe, like, try and avoid some of that. But, like, there's just everything on the screen, right? I love those games because it's, like, there's fun parts of it. And I haven't played a lot of Metroidvanias, but I do enjoy Metroidvanias. They are really fun because there's a lot of, like, cool platforming stuff that happens, right? But that game, towards the end, or even, like, maybe in, like, the middle or early parts for some people, if they're not really, like, having a good time, it's hard to get around in that game. Really hard.
Yeah.
And I was surprised I got as far as I did, but yeah, that game, no. That,
Oh my god.
yeah.
You can play it cooperatively. I didn't know you could do that. It looked like you could.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it's a local co-op up to 4 players.
Yeah. So, but like that was one of the games that like I was genuinely excited for, and even some Blob does writing in the community gifted me that game because they know I love Eldritch horror stuff, right? And they saw that it was like the Eldritch edition, so they gifted that to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so excited, and I really gave it so much of a shot, and I just felt so bad I couldn't finish it because I feel like I let them down a little bit, but like I explained everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that." But I was like, "But I still enjoyed the game while I was playing it, right? I still enjoyed it to a point. I had fun, but like it just felt bad, right? It just felt bad."
You just know when you get to a point where you're playing a game and you're just not enjoying it.
Yeah.
There's no point pushing it. You know, you just the whole process of playing a game is that you enjoy it and that you chill out. So you don't want to be stressing out, you know?
Or if you're stressing out because you're like, oh man, I need to like get really good at this boss fight, right? Like Elden Ring, you fight the same boss 50 different times, dying to it, sometimes when it has like a sliver of health left, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go back to it again. But like, that wasn't even a thing that you were doing with this boss. I think I barely got it to like down 25% of its total health. Like, I got it down, it still had 75% of its health bar, and I'd spent like a half hour on that boss.
Oh my god.
And I had some pretty decent leveling up, too. And I'm like, I'm not grinding this fucking game for 5+ hours just so I can beat this boss and then get to the next one, which I looked up the reviews, and people were like, yeah, if you thought this one was hard, like, people were talking about another boss, which was apparently an actual Eldritch god. Like one of the not outer god, one of the great old ones, Nyarlathotep, and
oh my god!
And I'm like, that one is supposed to be hard. I don't even know what that one is. I haven't gotten to that yet. So if you've got a game like that you're just like, I couldn't play it, I hate it, like I'm absolutely not. Do you have one of those that were right there in your head?
Okay. I think. Okay, 2 games stick out for me. One that I really wish I could enjoy. I really want to love it, and I just can't. Dead by Daylight. I just can't. It's just one of
feel
those
like
games
that's
that I just cannot get on with it. It doesn't tickle the right things in my brain, right?
Yeah.
But I can see the appeal. I see the appeal why people play it, but it just doesn't do it for me. But the one game where I just turned around and I was like, yeah, this is not my cup of tea. Like, not a chance. And it was it was a game that I played for 10, 15 minutes, and I had to turn it off. And
10, 15 minutes?
10, 15 minutes. It's the quickest time that I've ever turned around at a game and gone, yep, fuck this. Outlast. And it's so popular. I
really?
desperately... Outlast is just one of those games. I love a good horror game. I love horror. I love the genre of horror. If you put a horror film in front of me, I'm going to love it. I'm going to enjoy it. I just know I'm going to have a good time with it. But the one thing that will fuck me off to no end is if it's constant jump scares. It will. I just do not see the appeal in it. And Outlast, I had 3 or 4 jump scares in the space of 15 minutes. And I was like, if this is what it's going to be for the rest of the game, I can't play it. It's not necessarily because I'll be screaming all the way through it. It's more the fact that it'll bore me. It'll bore me because whenever I'll go into a room, it'll be like, oh, here comes a jump scare. And it just does not do it. I prefer the whole psychological horror. That's where Amnesia, I really enjoyed it because it was less about jumping and scaring and just like running from shit. It was like I really enjoyed like the cockroach sound inside your skull and like the darkness and like the madness and like the creeping in impending doom. That's the kind of stuff I like. But jump scares is a big no for me. I don't mind the occasional one, but Outlast I just couldn't get on with it. I really, really like horror games, but it's just something it didn't do it for me.
And I hear you, because I played that game and beat the whole thing on stream as like a challenge stream. I beat the whole thing, and I was surprised that I beat it in like, I think it was like 6 hours, something like that. But
Oh, really?
yeah, that I will say I understand where you're coming from. So when you come to horror games, that it feels like they rely too heavily on jump scares, and you can start to expect the jump scares. Yeah, no, that's not something that's fun for anybody. That's not something that is like, even like people that enjoy horror, like you have to earn jump scares. You can't just make a jump scare game. And like even the game like Spooky's House of Jump Scares, like there is a whole bunch more going on in that game that just like psychologically you get so drawn into what's happening that's like, oh yeah, jump scares. But there's a reason for it, and it's a full like breakdown of like jump scare genre. And that game, I feel like you might enjoy. Spooky's House of Jump Scares, I think is what it's called. But
I'll have a gander.
I haven't played it myself. I've been interested in it. So, but Pagan has a question for you.
Yes.
I have a question for Silence from Pagan Priestess. What motivates him to stream as consistently as he does with no financial motivation? I feel like I know the answer, but I'd love to hear it from him. I think we kind of talked a little bit about this, but I do want to hear you with the Pagan specific question.
Okay, so I purely do it just because I enjoy it. I love it. I because of where I am and because of the employment laws and the tax regulations and things like that, I'm not able to accept affiliate, and I was a little bit disappointed when I found out that I couldn't do it, but it's turned into a blessing, because what has just turned out what could potentially be some kind of financial income is turned into what is essentially a passion project for me now.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to change. I do not see me taking affiliate anytime soon, simply because A, I'm not going to be able to, but B, also because I don't necessarily want to. It's just something that I enjoy doing. It's a creative outlet for me. Like I make these videos. I'm currently in the process of making a raid trailer for Mochi. I'm doing the most democratic dignitary every month for viewers clips in Helldivers 2, and I make like these certificates that I hand out and that get sent to them.
I'd seen some of that, but I didn't realize you were doing that much.
Yeah, oh man, it's a creative outlet for me. It's something that I'm able to just put all my artistic energy into. But yeah, I just love doing it, and B, I don't necessarily want to make money out of it. I just enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much the angle that I'm coming at it from. It's just, yeah, I just love doing it. I think if you enjoy doing something, then you don't really need to necessarily. I'm also very fortunate. I'm in the financial position that I don't need to worry about earning money off of Twitch. I'm in the fortunate position about that. So I was like, why do I really want to why do I want to take people's money when I know I'm okay for money? And just, I want to build a community. I want to be part of this continual growing community where people I want to build a bunch of friends. That's the best way. That's the only way that I can really describe it, So that's pretty much where I'm coming from with it. It's just something I enjoy doing. I love doing it.
Yeah. All right. Does that did that answer your question enough, Pagan? Which it's interesting too, because for me with the stuff over here in America, I didn't really have to worry about the tax stuff because I'm not making a whole lot of it off of Twitch, and it's a small amount. It's not nothing, but I'm not making enough to really justify not trying to still find a job. So, but dude, right now the job market fucking sucks. I don't want to go on too much about it, but it's getting more and more bloated with even more people that are coming in, even more people getting shut out of awful stuff, and then it's okay, well, I was out of the job market for like a month or two before this stuff started happening, and now I'm like, well, I know, like, the wife is working really hard. She's making plenty of good money. I love doing that to support her. Like, I'm keeping the house clean. I'm doing, like, stay-at-home husband stuff, trying to keep everything really good and situated, right? And it's also why I've been doing so many more streams lately, is because I have the time to do it. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to sit here and, like, you know, feel sorry for myself because I can't seem to find some job that wants to, you know, take a shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing this because I love entertaining. So
Yeah. Well, you got to do something that you're passionate about. You got to do something that you enjoy doing, and even if it's just like a side hustle, or even if it's just something that you do in your spare time. I think, unfortunately, in today's day and age, worldwide, not even just in Europe or America, I think there's a lot of emphasis on like getting into the 9 to 5, making sure that you're part of the workforce and whatnot, and especially with like the development of new technologies and things. I think a lot of people are like trying to sway away from like the creative arts and doing things that they like, where they can get their artistic streaks at and like skills out. And I think it's important to make sure that you're doing that. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Dal. With you on that.
And, you know, I wish everyone the best of luck. If you guys are, if there's anybody out there that's currently like struggling with jobs and currently trying to struggle with that stuff, you can get through it. It's not just you. There are a whole bunch of people. I'm sure some of you might be feeling that too, with the pressure of being like, oh, I need to make money. Like, I need to do this. And, you know, I'm really lucky to have Pagan, who's been making a bunch of money right now and like working a really good job. So it's been half a year for me now. Jeez. I'm about to be in the same boat, Cyber, as far as like quite a few months of no job and nothing. And there was somebody who recently just said something to me. Like, I was like, I'm in a few other Discords too, and one of them, like, we were just talking about like the current state of like a bunch of stuff that is existing, where like people are not really in the jobs they want to be. People are quitting their jobs, and it's just like, you know, all the kind of stuff that's going on. And then somebody just finally said, they were like, you know, maybe it's, even though it's going to be super hard for a lot of us right now, not finding the jobs that we want and not finding any jobs that'll take us and not getting anything that we necessarily like want or even like need, maybe that's because the things that we do genuinely don't even know we want are going to happen once all of these shit jobs realize that they're shit and they die off. And then we start getting in the actual good stuff, and then it's like a surprise thing where it's like, finally, we've got everything that we've been waiting for, and then it's just like a huge explosion, right? And everyone's like, there's still going to be some rough parts. Like, you can't have good stuff without a little bit of bad. That's just the way of this world. But I feel like we're definitely getting primed for something where, like, we keep going through it a little bit longer, and then there's going to be something that happens where it's like, this is what we were waiting for. This is why all this shit was happening. Here we go, right? Thinking military enlistment might be my way out. Military enlightenment is a curious thing, but yeah, military enlistment. Gotcha, Cyber. Bro, I went to the military to get enlightened. I'm pretty sure that's not why people go in the military.
Oh my god.
I love you, Cyber. But okay, one more thing before we get into the fun little thing that you have planned for later.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily like games and stuff, but I don't know. I was just about to. I had it on the tip of my tongue, and I just forgot about it. Is there anything that like you, like a niche thing that you think about a lot, or like something that just like you play in the back of your head, that whenever you're not doing something, you're thinking about this? Like, we talked about how Ian from just like somebody in the community, he's like, most of the time when I have a little bit of time and I like, maybe I'm doing something else and my brain kind of like drifts off or turns off, he's like, I'm thinking about trying to find the lost city of Z.
of like down in like the Amazon, trying to find this city that nobody else has found, thinking about how to plan it out, how to make it work, all the things I need to be careful of, right? Like he's thinking about that. Maybe he'll actually get to do it in the future, but the goal is like not necessarily trying to get to do that, but that's just floating in the back of your head. Do you have something like that,
man.
or is that?
Oh, fuck, that's a good question. I have a lot of shit that goes through my brain, and I'm like, I think. Right, okay. Oh, damn. Okay, you put me on the spot here now because I'm trying to figure that out.
If you need a little bit of time to think about it, but like that's just something I was thinking
Okay.
about.
I suppose I imagine myself as Indiana Jones a lot, like going on these epic adventures, like in like Mexico or like these like Aztec ruins and shit like that. I do think about that quite a bit. I think if we're talking about adventure and like what people like what do you imagine yourself doing on a regular basis with no context whatsoever.
It
If
doesn't
we're
even
going
have to
on
be
like
adventuring though. It can be anything that's
I
been like
know, man.
floating in the back of your head, like maybe like a concept of something, whether it be like maybe like coding something or trying to make your own video game or like writing a story, and it's floating in there, and you know that's what I'm talking about.
There's two things that I think I regularly think about. One is it's like being a hell diver. just like dropping in, doing that. But I think
Living for 2 minutes and dying.
That's it, mate. But I really, I'm a big D&D nerd, and I've been a forever DM for the last 5 or 6 years, and I've got a massive amount of writing that I've done, and I've constantly been thinking about trying to compile it into some kind of a book. So like trying to make like a monster manual or something along the lines of that. I would love to say that I'm like got these really far flung out ideas, but that's probably something that crops up into my head more than once a week for sure. I suppose in this way I just try and keep myself busy so I'm not thinking too much, because if I do think too much, I can go to some real dark places.
That's
So
fair.
I
We
just
don't have
end
to
up
go
with-
there, but yeah, I was
No.
just.
I know. When I mean like, I mean like creatively dark. I don't mean
Oh,
like
okay.
mentally dark.
Okay.
But I yeah, that's predominantly it. I think it's more about like I'm constantly thinking about D&D concepts, constantly D&D like monsters and shit like that. But yeah,
Write
what
your own
about you?
module.
What do you think? Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, I think. What about you?
So, I don't think it's any secret that like I'm into a bit of like the occult knowledge and like thinking about stuff. And I bet some people are thinking like, oh, you probably think about that a lot. It's I don't necessarily think about that a lot, but it's more of like thinking just like how large the universe is in so many more ways, and how unique our world is. Like it's something that I constantly think about too. Like I'm just constantly thinking about how we even fucking exist in the first place, because something that goes in my head all the time that I'm always thinking about is like the likelihood of every other version of this universe or anything like it not actually existing, because the atoms that make up everything that, even though there's so much space in between atoms, the ability for us to see things like this and think thoughts and operate anything at all, touch things, feel it, and all of that, the ability for us to do that and not have any of it like on the spot spontaneously break apart into its atoms and just stop existing in the way that we're aware of it, is something that is constantly in my head. Like I'm just constantly thinking about like, we are so lucky to exist in the world, in the everything that we constantly are in. Like even if it's like the most shittiest circumstances ever, even if there is like everything awful's going on, like there are so many unique things that make up this world that we might even be blind to a lot. Like sometimes I'm blind to it and I might think about it, and then like I look at it and I go, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize
how interesting and how crazy it is that this thing exists.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Like it's just like if we're talking mathematics, it's almost a mathematical impossibility. Like it's just a series of coincidences that were around. Right?
Yeah.
And it's. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Like even when shit's real bad, and you just turn around and think about the possibility of us ever being here, right?
Like the fact that you're even not like the likelihood of you existing in the way that you are and not just being a whole bunch of atoms that aren't able to make up anything and just a whole universe of a bunch of atoms that make up nothing. There's nothing. That is what everything should be based on what most of these and like based on what our understanding of looking at all this stuff. But the thing is, it's not. Every time I think about it, it's like it could be these things. It could be all this stuff. Somebody finds that really funny. I hear that sound alert. But like, it's so many different ways to think about stuff of like, there should be none of this. And yet you are. There should be no valacious, there should be no silence, there should be nothing at all. No touch, there should be no taste, there should be no like sixth sense, whatever. None of that are like cultures, none of it should have ever existed, and yet it does. Against every bit of logic, our planet should not exist in a perfect space with a gigantic planet further out, a gas giant that in all likelihood should not exist that far out. Gas giants are usually inside where the smaller planets are right now, where we are, and like we're in the habitable zone that like having a star that has a habitable zone that doesn't tidally lock the planet in the first place so that it spins. Like
it's nuts.
The more you find out about it, the more you just go, how? And then you go, why? And then it's just like, you don't really need a why. You can just be. It just is. Because it already is. It's not going to stop. It's not going to all of a sudden turn into the bunch of atoms where none of us are like even existing anymore. We can't form thoughts because there's nothing there, right? It's not going to happen right now, and it's probably not going to happen ever until the heat of the universe, if that's even how it happens, right? But like, that's not going to happen. So even though it's really scary, even though it's super hard to like understand stuff, even if there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, which I've had tons of things that happen to me where I'm like, I don't even understand any of what's going on. I don't even know how to try and conceptualize this. I've been through hells, the likes of which I don't think like most people even understand, and yet everything still is. I'm still here. You're still here. I met you. Wouldn't have met you otherwise. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that have happened that, like, why would it happen? Well, why wouldn't it happen? There's plenty of reasons why, but it did. So
I've got a bit of an add-on on that.
Okay.
And this kind of ties in. This kind of ties in a little bit with what you were asking me earlier on. I think way too much about UFOs. like
hell yeah,
aliens
dude.
And things. I love alien conspiracy theorists. I'm not an alien conspiracy theorist, but I do like watching them. I like reading about it.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? What's your take on the fact that there is intelligent life out there?
Besides the fact that I witnessed a UFO trying to do something, no fucking clue what it was. Besides the fact that I witnessed that, and I still don't know how to reconcile that knowledge. Aside from that,
okay, hold on. Shut the front fucking door. Okay, right. We need to talk about this now. Right. We need to talk about this. Right. Tell me everything.
Okay. Well, it's really hard because I was really young when it happened, and that's like it's really hard to talk about that kind of stuff because you have to try and think back to it.
Okay.
But this was burned into my fucking brain because it was so like what the fuck. So, okay, I'm gonna try and talk about this in a way that makes sense because again, this is like 6-year-old Valacious. All right, this is like 6-year-old Valacious. So, I remember. As a kid, I had I was on like the second floor of my house, all right, and like that's where my where my room was with my brother, and I had this really big window that my bedroom, my bed was right up next to, all right? And I could look out, and I could see, like, way down, like, to, like, the river. I could see, like, farms, like, because we were up on a bit of a hill, the house that we were in. So we're up on a hill. I'm on the second floor. I can see down, like, down the slope, down to the farms, which are, like, way down. And I can see, like, the river down there. I can see a mountain, like, really big mountain, way off in the distance, right? And I can see, like, the lights of all the different, like, groups of, like, the cities out there. I can see all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I can see all this stuff. And I loved looking out there. The sunset's beautiful. But this night, it was really dark by the time I went to bed. And I remember looking out there and kind of just, like, looking out, right? Just looking out at the stars, looking out at the sky, and looking out at everything. And I see, like, the red lights of ships. Not ships, planes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I call them ships. But, yeah, the red lights of planes. One of them is, like, really far off on the right. One of them is really far off on the left, right? And I see this, and they're flashing in a way where I know that, like, they're really far away. One's, like, way off to the right. One's way off to the left. And I see the red flashing lights out there from me looking out into the stars, like, into the sky. And I'm like, okay, those are planes. They're going really slow, but, like, I see them, right? And I remember kind of looking at that, being like, and I stared at them for a little bit, and they were getting, like, they were kind of going in a way where I'm like, these are about to, like, these are going in the same direction, like, towards each other. And they're like, if they don't start moving a little bit, they might hit. But, like, the planes have their own built-in systems to not let that happen. But, like, it looks like they're kind of gonna hit. And I remember staring at that for, like, maybe it must have been, like, I kid you not, like a half hour of me just staring at this, being like, they are definitely heading towards each other. There's something going on here. What is what is happening? And, like, I stared at that for probably about a half hour. Like, it felt like maybe like an hour or two, but I don't know. At some point, I was like, okay, I do need to lay down and go to bed. I'll check on it every now and then, but, like, I'll go to bed. And I fell asleep. And then I woke up, and I know I woke up because, like, you know, I'm feeling, like, everything. I'm kind of, like, pinching myself, because what I see is when I look out the window again, it's still really dark, right? There's no moon at all, so there's not really any light. I can see the stars, and I can see these red flashing lights of the two, like, planes on their wingtips, and they are practically right in front of each other. I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on a second. Like, there's not even a thing of, like, you know, maybe they're flying, like, one at a different altitude, one at a lower altitude, and they're going to fly over to. No, they are right in front of each other. And, like, this is really far away, so I'm just barely seeing, like, the tiniest bit of red flashing light. But, like, I can see the red flashing lights of both planes, and they are almost about to hit each other. And I'm like, oh, I'm staring this down. I'm watching this happen, right? So I'm like getting all ready. I'm looking. I'm like, what the fuck am I about to watch two planes explode? Like, that's what's going through my brain, right? These planes are going to absolutely explode. So I'm sitting there and I'm staring, and I'm like, what's going to happen? And they get really close. They get even closer. It seems like the red lights are practically touching at this point. I'm like, how? But, you know, I'm like, okay, I am really far away. There's probably still some stuff going on. And then they disappear. I'm like, what? I didn't think,
vanished?
Like, just flat out fucking gone. Like, I'm like, I didn't think they could turn those off, or, like, they were even allowed to. Where, and then the whole sky lights up in, like, this, and this is where it gets really weird. If you were to imagine a plus sign, okay, like, you know, like one line going vertical, one line going horizontal, they meet in the middle, right? A plus sign that is as, like, brighter than the sun, and made up of, like, these, like, super bright yellow lights that are forming this plus sign, like, just blazing, right? I'm like, I can't even look at that, really, but I'm, like, staring at it, because I'm like, I'm not missing this. I'm, like, staring at it, the lights are getting burned on my eyes, and like, I don't think I heard anything, so I'm not gonna say for sure I heard anything, but it's just like, like, I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? And then they're gone. And I'm like, okay, so I had red lights of these planes that were flying at each other, and they're gone. And then there's huge plus sign of blazing yellow white light, and now that's gone. Now what? And it's like pitch black in the sky, pretty much. It seems like it's pitch black, but it's really just because my eyes are trying to adjust, like, what the fuck was I just looking at, right? And then there's like this like strobe light circle effect on the ground. Like if you were to imagine like a stage light or something, right? If you were to shine like a flashlight on the ground and there's the ring of white light, right? Imagine that, but there's like the radius of a house, and it flashes like off into one of the like fields that I was like looking at, and then it flashes in the lawn of the house that was like way down in the valley that I'm looking at, and then when I say flashes, it's like strobing. There are like it's like and like flashing white light off in the distance. I see it, and then like in this lawn, there's a strobing white flashing circle of light, like in the lawn. There's nothing there. I can see it from where I am, and it's so fucking bright. I think I would be able to actually like see if there's anything in there. There's nothing there. It's just like flashing there, and then it flashes on our own fucking lawn, right below my window where I'm looking at it, and like in this ring, and it's just like and then it's gone, and I didn't see anything else. And I sat there for I kid you not, a full hour, looking around like, what, huh? And I asked my parents the next morning. I asked my brother, who was asleep, so he probably didn't see it. I asked my sister, who was in a different room. I was like, did you guys see anything really weird last night? Did you guys, but like, my parents' window is facing the opposite direction, and they're on the first floor facing the other direction, so unless one of them got up in the middle of the night to look, they probably wouldn't have seen it. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just witness? And that has stuck with me my entire life.
Okay, I have a few questions.
I would imagine.
I am locked in now. Did you live out in the sticks when you was a kid?
Not necessarily. So, like, where I lived, it was, like I said, it was up on a hill, and there was, like, like, a farm and stuff down, and, like, a river and everything. But right around that farm, there's, like, a whole bunch of people, right? There's, like, a whole bunch of, like, houses. There's a development that's kind of building up towards the field, and the field's down in, like, a little canyon valley area. So there's, like, houses up on the ridges and stuff, and then, like, there's more houses, like, all around us and everything. There was, like...
So it's more like not quite a suburb, but more like a busy rural area. Would that be a fair way of describing it?
It's hard to, because if it's, like...
Yeah.
If, like, there's tons of different houses in, like, suburbs, right? And they're, like, not even, like, a mile away. Or maybe like a mile or two.
Right.
All right. But where we are is not fully developed into like anything more than like, you know, houses with a bit of land and, you know, some space and a bit of desert here and there. But like it would take us like a few minutes to drive into like a pretty substantial town with like, you know, like the trailer parks and then like the houses and like the shops and stuff. So, you know, not quite the sticks, but just in like the very outskirts of the big city.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. The area that you were in, was it known for UFO sightings? Do you know? Have you done
Not that I know of.
About that at some point?
I mean, aside from the fact that we had like a nuclear reactor site that was part of the Manhattan Project down the way. Quite a distance away. That's the only thing that's like really. That was the call to the thing. That was the call to fame of the place. There wasn't anything else really. Yeah. Of like it was like, oh yeah, we had our nuclear family thing. Like that's how this place really came to be. But yeah, there's no really big reason why there would be a UFO sighting here. Never saw one. No. There were a few asteroids here and there that would come down, but they were like asteroids and meteorites that people would pick up and be like, yeah, look, check this out. Like it'd show up in the newspaper or whatever. But yeah, this was like a completely unique thing. And no one believed me.
Right. Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick your brains off stream, man.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm not gonna like be like, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. You'll have to pull it out of my dead body. No, I'm down. It's just I don't know what to make of it. I just know that that's what happened.
I am absolutely gobsmacked that I've just literally said like, yeah, I think about UFOs quite a bit. You're like, I had an experience, and
I was gonna try and like casually drop it, but like you don't casually drop something like that, and then somebody goes, "What?" And like, yeah,
that was fucking great.
So
okay, I'm gonna really need to pick your brains, because I know that recently in America they've been like releasing reports of like UAPs. Like I think they don't call them UFOs anymore. I think they call them.
yeah, no, they try not to stick with the UFO thing.
Aerial phenomena. Yeah, I think there's unfortunately a bit of stigma that comes with it. But but like you can't have like all of these people can't be wrong. Something's definitely going on. You know what I mean? Like how people turn around and they say like, oh no, it's just people.
And
People are seeing shit in the sky.
the biggest thing the military did too is like I know what you're talking about. And like I think it's Operation Blue Book is the term that was used for by the military for when they were talking about unidentified flying objects. But they basically when they announced it, they said, there's a bunch of like these very unique shapes that fly around and do these things. We have no fucking clue what they are. And so they basically said, if you want to tell us about it, that's going to be really great. You guys let us know. And we'll log it all. We'll, make sure all this stuff is happening. But yeah, that's pretty much all it was. Aside from them like showing off some of the stuff and like declassifying it and showing it, a lot of it was like, yep, here it is. And people were like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck it is. Do you guys like really know? And they're like, well, it's kind of like these like certain ships that we've seen, or like some of these other things that we've seen too. And so it was more of a kind of anticlimactic thing because everyone thought that the government knew what it was, and they're like, yeah, we have no clue what it is either. So, I mean, whether or not you want to believe that, that's up to you. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't disbelieve it. Let me put it that way. I've looked into enough of this stuff. I'm just like looking at it and I'm like, there's got to be something out there, man. It's one of the very few things. I like to think that I'm quite a grounded person. That usually, like the most reasonable answer is usually the correct answer, right? But this is something that I'm
Occam's
really
razor.
particularly interested in. Yeah, and like, I'm very particularly interested in. I have been interested in it for a very, very long time.
It's fun to think about. It's fun to think about this stuff.
It is. Yeah, it gets the old creative juices like flowing. But it's like it's imaginative, and I like the idea that like we are being visited by something. My question would be why? like you could go anywhere in the universe and you're coming here.
Yeah, it's a backwater planet in a backwater part of like the Milky Way that's nowhere near the center. It's off towards some arm. You have to be lucky to hit this thing with like if you were to take the Milky Way and throw a dart, you're definitely not going to hit Earth. Like there's no reason.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy it. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm definitely going to have to pick your brain.
No, I think I've talked about it like only one other time on stream, and I don't think anybody really remembers that. But yeah, no. But if we want to, because it is getting to be about like the full 2 hour mark, and I don't want to keep you too long if you have other stuff. But we did have one thing that we wanted to talk about, which was let me pull this up really fast. Okay, here we go. It was this or that questions, a lightning round of a whole bunch of questions, back to back to back to back to back.
Yes.
So,
did you want to go first, or?
So what do I just scroll down?
So literally, so there's a few there. I mean, you can use your own ideas as well. You haven't got to use what's necessarily there. But it's usually just like a couple of questions or a couple of things, and then you usually choose which one that you prefer, right? So, for example, if I turn around and go coffee or tea, you would have to pick coffee or tea, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay. I'm gonna probably go with the questions for friends list.
Okay.
So I'll pick some good ones out of there, and I'll just like throw them to you. But yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'll go first. I'll just say these to you, and then you answer, and we keep going, and then you do yours.
Yeah. So once I give you an answer, then you just move straight on to the next one. You can give like a very short explanation, but yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
This or that questions for friends. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Call first thing in the morning or call in the middle of the night.
Oh, call in. If it's a call in the middle of the night, that's a bad one. So call first thing in the morning.
Okay. Board games or video games?
Video games. That's an easy one.
Photos or videos?
Fuck. Videos.
Okay. All right. Social media message or text message?
Social media.
Really interesting. I'll have to write that down. All right.
Yeah.
Take a friend on your family vacation or join a friend on their family vacation.
Take a friend on family vacation.
Okay. Group hangout or one-on-one hangout?
I don't know. Maybe group hangout?
Okay.
Yeah, group hangout.
French fries or onion
yeah.
rings?
Giggity.
Oh, that
Giggity.
chips. It's chips. But yeah, French fries.
And they're fries. All right. But all right. Share food or don't share food?
I'm a horrible, selfish bastard when it comes to food. Don't share.
Okay. Give a ride or hitch a ride?
Give a ride.
Okay. PayPal or Venmo?
Don't use either, to be completely honest with you.
Fair enough.
PayPal.
Instagram or Twitter?
Yeah. Fucking hate both of them.
There you go. Shopping
Yeah.
online or shopping in store?
Shopping online.
Okay. Tattoos or piercings?
Yeah. Tattoos.
Okay. Store-bought or homemade?
Homemade. Gossip.
Plans or surprises?
Plans.
I would have said the other one. Pizza or Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Good choice. Books or movies?
Yeah. Movies. I'm not
All
a book
right.
person. I really should be, but I'm not.
Roller coasters or water slides?
Roller coasters.
Okay. Souvenirs or
100%.
postcards?
Souvenirs.
All right. Letter or emails?
Emails.
Android or iPhone?
Android. Fuck iPhone.
Fuck yeah! All right. Yeah, no. Fuck Apple and fuck iPhone. All right. Brand name or
Yeah.
generic?
I'm really not fussed about brand names, so I would say generic.
Okay. Bargain or top
Yeah.
shelf?
Bargain.
All right.
Cheap and cheerful.
Loud or quiet?
I think we both know the answer to this one. Loud.
I saw that one. I'm like, oh, this is going to be funny. Protagonist or sidekick?
This depends on context, but I suppose it's protagonist
All right.
for sure.
I'm going to skip one of these. Animals or friends?
Yeah.
Or animals or people?
It sounds so bad as a streamer. Animals.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say animals.
yeah,
Animals deserve
yeah,
all of
I
our
do-
love and appreciation. Weekends or holidays?
100%. Weekends.
Okay. Day or night?
Yeah. Night.
Yes. Watch sports
Yeah,
or play
yeah.
sports?
Play sports. I prefer playing rather
Yeah.
than watching.
Driving
Yeah.
fast or driving slow?
I'm a granddad. I'm sorry. I've been in the fire service. I know what happens when people drive fast. I'm driving slow kind of guy.
Nice.
I'm a driving slow kind of guy.
There we go.
Right. Okay. Let me have a gander and see if I can do one for you.
All right, that was that bit. Fries not chips,
okay.
chips not crisps. It's not tea, it's fish food. Goodness,
What?
creator.
Get out. That's sacrilege. Okay, I'm going to do hard this and that questions. So I'm really going to throw some proper hard ones at you here.
Okay.
Smartest person in the world or richest person in the world?
Yeah, I've closed the list. Now I'm just gonna have to listen and go with it.
Yeah. So smartest person in the world or richest person in the world?
Smartest person in the world.
Yeah, I would as well. Save 100 strangers or one loved one?
Oh,
This is-
one loved
It's not
one.
easy. Okay. See the future or change the past?
See the future.
Time machine or magic wand?
Time machine.
Sight or sound?
Sound.
Logic or emotion?
Logic.
Words or actions?
Words.
Passion or stability?
What was the first one?
Passion or stability?
Passion.
Money or love?
Love.
That one. Success or happiness?
Success.
Skill or popularity?
Skill.
Some of these are really fucking weird. Intense pain for 10 minutes or dull pain for 1 day?
Intense pain.
Hero or anti-hero?
Anti-hero.
Overly optimistic or overly pessimistic?
Optimistic.
Yeah, of course. False hope or unnecessary anxiety? Wow, these have gone really...
Okay, wait, so say that one again?
False hope or unnecessary anxiety?
Ooh, false hope?
Okay. Massive success by accident or modest success on purpose?
Modest success on purpose.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Regret
Yeah.
or doubt?
What was that?
Regret or doubt?
Regret.
No company or bad company?
No company. Oh, fuck bad company, dude. I couldn't.
Yeah. I'm the same, man. Why would you want to have bad company?
Yeah.
Just sat there fucking, talking to the walls. Pause time or rewind time?
Oh, rewind time.
Okay. Free travel for 1 year or free lodging for 5 years?
Free lodging.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm surprised at that. I am surprised at that.
Okay, I can give you a reason why. Because
Yeah,
if you have, like, some of these answers, some people might be like, why not choose, like, the happiness over success and stuff? It's because if you have the free lodging for 5 years, you are able to set yourself up very easily so that you will be able to travel the other way. And you know, like all of these things, like the reason success over the happiness, because you get success, then you're able to get happiness. Like a lot of these things, it's like you get the right one, and maybe I didn't do that for some of them. I'm just like flying from the hip, right? But a lot of these, I'm like, I can do this stuff first, and then that will enable all of this stuff later.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, and I've got the last big one for me. Dogs or cats?
Cats. Dogs have too much energy.
Dogs!
I know. You got your beautiful puppies.
Yeah, you got wonderful cats as well, man. Actually, in all fairness, I would happily go both. I've had dogs and cats, so yeah.
Yeah.
And
no.
Okay, let's do one more. I've got one more for you. Dine in or order delivery?
Dine in.
Okay.
Because, dine in. I feel like I don't have to reconcile that one, but yeah, no. There's.
Okay.
All right. That's it, right? We don't have to really like talk a whole lot about it unless we want to. But
That's it, mate. 100%. Yeah. That's the whole point of this or that questions.
But yeah, that I kind of want to talk about it a little bit, but yeah, it's like I was hearing some of that stuff, and I'm just thinking, yeah, this is just like if you get one of these, you're able to make the other one work. Some of them work both ways, but like you set yourself up in the right way at the beginning and kind of work through it for a little bit of time, even if it's not the most pleasant thing. Like you can then have both, but you have to have one before you can have both. So
some of these are set up like that. Some of them are set up like, oh, if you say this, you could get this later, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool.
But that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Bit different.
Dogs, cats are Satan's familiars. You know what, Krogon? You may be right, but damn it, cats are so much cuter to cuddle, I feel like. Even though dogs can be very adorable.
I feel like when you get love from a cat, you've earned it, right? So it's like dogs very much, if you just say, who's a good boy, that's it.
They're like, oh, yes, I'm a good boy. Yes, I'm a good boy.
Yeah. My missus actually calls me like my personality's like a dog. She does say it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's not a
I don't know
bad
how-
thing. Like it's honestly good
No.
because it's like, oh, who's a good boy? Like, oh, I really appreciate you, and it's like, oh, thanks.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel like if you get a cat that comes on your lap and just curls up into a ball and falls asleep, you've done something right by that cat.
Yeah.
You've earned that cat's trust, right? And I do see the appeal of look, owners who have cats. It is cool.
Also, so Creator has wait, no, was it Creator? Oh yeah, Creator and Thorn had 2 different Would You Rather's, and I feel like they're both just like.
Oh my
so I'm not
God.
doing them. Yeah, I read Thorns, and then I read I saw Creators first, and then I saw Thorns, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna read
Oh my
those.
God. These are awful.
I
What the
know
fuck?
it's almost making me want to throw up in my mouth. What the fuck, you guys? There's this really
Could
cool
you
guy we
not?
should raid called Valacious. Oh, really? What's he like? Is he worth it? I don't know about it. But oh, man, listen, there's this Silence guy that I'm about to shout out that you guys should go follow right the fuck now, all right?
He sounds like a proper
There we
dead
go.
end.
Yeah, no, this dude, man, that accent is something else. He's got a really solid one. You should definitely go check it out.
Val,
There we go.
You do me an honor, mate. Thank you so much for today, man. I really appreciate it, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it today, man. It's been
Yeah,
great.
and if you want to stick around for a little bit of like after the stream, like you know, just kind of like debrief and like talk about everything, then we
Yeah,
can
of
go ahead and
course.
do that. But I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and I'm gonna cut the recording off here for YouTube. See if there's any editing I need to do around it. But YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy this. I actually need to go pull off some of the other ones that I saved. But yeah, YouTube, thank you so much. This has been Valacious and
Hello, silence. Goodbye.
bye, YouTube.